Alright. This one I'm just gonna kind of chat. You know what I'm saying? Um, just because, uh, the whole point to a bunch of these videos, because I'm gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. I love stuff. Lots of stuff. I like science. I like art, animation. Clearly, I'm an animator. I like comics, stuff like that. Music. Um, so I'm gonna be talking about, a bunch of stuff I know, stuff I'm into, crap like that. But here's getting in the freaking way. Uh, but in this one particularly, I wanted to talk about like money. Everyone likes to talk about money, right? Yeah. Well, thing of it is, I'm a pretty poor dude. Um, and that is not me complaining whatsoever at all. And I know a lot of people would probably call BS on such crap, but I don't want money at all for anything. And if I ever get money for something for free, for whatever, if there's money donated to my Patreon, I actually have a Patreon, but I don't know, that was back when I was deciding to do something different with the channel. Now my services are free. I'm at your disposal, YouTube, and everybody out there. Um, so if you got a question, drop it in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer that question for you. Um, because I'm only here to serve and to help. Uh, but that's exactly what brings me back around to that whole money idea there. I don't care about it in the slightest. It is one of the most evil things that has been put on this planet. And that's not Jer being a commie or nothing like that, you know. I just have my opinions about the way that that substance makes people act. You know what I'm saying? So, if it's ever given to me, hands down, 100%, I will post on this. Anyone can ask me at any time what happened to that money. I will post monthly posts of all of the finances that comes into anything that I have that's hooked up in that fashion. Like if someone happened to donate to the Patreon, donate it to something good or charitable. And I'll get to that in a minute because I'm like as far as the donation thing is concerned, I'll be very specific about how that will go down. But I would donate it to, a good cause and then show receipts for said donations. No weird scummy crap or nothing. And I, you know, I wouldn't be against gifts. I'm all about people, you know, giving to one another. That is something I think is important. And I wouldn't turn down a gift, you know, like obviously uh, it's rude, first of all. Um, Second of all, it's freaking, it's a gift. I mean, someone chose to do something for you because they love you or like you or what have you. So that's a good thing, not a bad thing in any way. But supporting my life is not anybody else's responsibility except for my own. And my needs are met. and there are others with less than me that deserve to have that. That being said, when it comes to donations and charities, we all know how donations and charities are. You could end up donating to something that sucks, to something that's like going right back into the machine and doesn't even get donated to no proper good purpose or anything. So I do have some of my own ideas for things that are good ideas to pour money into. I suppose I'll get more into that later on. Probably not this episode. It's a big subject. Because it's just my ideas on how to fix stuff. And, you know, at this point, no one's going to want to hear that. That's why I did the value video and the video about Pastor James's last sermon, which is a thing I got to get into on this vid as well. But I did those things and will continue to do things that are surprising sounding or weird to some people, but straight up, like, I'm out to look for the truth, and I want everyone that visits the channel to be looking for the same thing. You know, like, I want to get to the bottom of this stuff with people, and I think personally that to have discourse about some things and to be able to talk about theories of things and stuff with each other on a channel rather than just presenting it, you know, like an educational channel or something, would be of benefit. And I also have faith that my abilities as a thinker can contribute in some way, perhaps to science or an understanding of things, because I have ideas and theories. See, the problem is, though, is that my ideas and theories, like, just to talk to anybody about it, you know, people aren't into, not everybody is into physics or anything like that. And it's kind of hard to get into the conversation with some people. And with some people, it goes right over their heads. It's hard for them to understand and things like that. And it's just not an easy thing to have discussions with people and work through problems about. So I wanted to, through this channel, kind of make it easier to do so. And because I really think that, you know, the things that I've learned and am learning in regards to physics and stuff like that really could contribute something. Now, what is it? I'm sure that's probably the question going through everyone's mind. Jeremiah, just freaking answer it. What makes me think I'm qualified to go talking about physics? Well, first, I'm going to discredit myself further before I go and give what it is I think that I offer in the way of knowledge towards that. I, by all standards or whatever, would be considered your standard loser. And that's not me being, you know, bumming on myself or nothing. I'm cool, okay? What I'm saying is, I work a pretty crappy minimum wage job. It's not crappy. I love it. I love what I do. I'm in hospitality. I like to take care of people, help them out if I can, stuff like that. I like the people I work with. They're nice. And my boss, pretty cool lady, and the guy that runs the joint seems like a real outstanding guy, a family guy that loves his family. I like that about people. But but it's not a win. Like, it's not one of those things that would be considered high value by any means. Now, back in the day, I used to be an animator. I used to make like easily twice as much as what I make, if not more than that. Animating cartoons in North Carolina. What happened to that, Jeremiah? Well, you know, that I got laid off from that job because it was one of those, funded jobs or whatever. Besides that, if we're being honest, I wasn't the best employee, you know. I mean, I really I was the lead on the project and stuff, and I was good at what I did, but dude, I'm lazy and scatterbrained and probably a nightmare to have as an employee. I show up late to work all the freaking time. I'm freaking stupid. I'm stupid. But anyways, that's not even the point. Um, but that kind of is, it comes into play with a lot of what I'll be saying about like value and stuff and in people. I'll talk a lot about that because it's an important subject. Um, but aside from that, like I got kicked out of my house when I was 16, was homeless. I dropped out of school in ninth grade. I got my GED. I was in the Navy and freaking dropped out of that like a year in. And, none of my stuff are success stories, as you can see. Like I said, loser. So, that's what leads me to explain that, like, when a bunch of stuff like that happens to a person, people, family and stuff, they start to worry about you, man. It's like, you okay, bro? You freaking, I mean, shit went down, dude. Dude, I got a divorce, you know what I'm saying? My car blew up, you know? I had a bunch of crap happen, dude. It sucked. But, you know, I developed through that. And without those experiences, without that stuff that happened, I wouldn't be here today. And I certainly wouldn't be talking about the stuff I'm talking about. And part of the whole thing with my theory that I come up with, um, like, that all sprouted from this. And I can trace the chain of events in my life that all led to the moment. It's odd. Like I can see it. But um so what was I getting into with that? I My qualifications for that. So obviously I don't seem qualified. High school dropout, stuff like that. I did end up going to college for animation, which, obviously that's not physics. You know what I'm saying? But But that's actually, though, where my qualification does come in, is the animation bit. Because animators, we do deal with physics, but it's a parody of physics or a caricature, if you will. We take and stretch, exaggerate, but we use the laws of physics to do what we do. So when we see something move, we can tell, if you're good enough, you can tell why it moves like that. And if there's something wrong with the motion, you can also identify that and get to the bottom of what's screwing it up. And let me tell you what, as a lead animator at a place where everyone was kind of starting fresh. You know, it was pretty much their first job, probably, you know, because they didn't want to pour a lot of money into people. You know, they wanted to try to keep it at a good place, um, as far as budget was concerned and stuff. I'm sorry, I had to hit the low battery button there on the screen. But, you know, so like they hired people that were in their price range to do so. So, a lot of them were first timers. I wasn't, not that time around. We had done a project the previous couple of years before, but it was my first time as a lead and running a team and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a lot of pressure. Where was I freaking going with? Oh, but the thing is you got to iron out a lot of kinks. Is the point I was trying to make, and you got to get to the bottom of why a lot of animations don't work at that point, and you start to get a feeling about it. You know, it's second nature, which is the thing I want to mention. Knowledge is a combination of two things: wisdom and understanding. Now, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons fan. I don't know. Can we see any of them? I got D&D comics up there. I'm sure you probably saw it in the last video that I did with the music. But I got Dungeons and Dragons comics up there. I got all the D&D books. I've, you know, played for years and stuff. Love it. But one of the things in Dungeons and Dragons is that they have a set of stats that represent, you know, your character and his strengths in certain areas. Their strength, agility, or also known as dexterity, uh, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. And the two I'm going to focus on here are the wisdom and intelligence. That is the difference between, or that is the same as wisdom and understanding. Is that wisdom in Dungeons and Dragons is used for characters that are like sorcerers and things like that. Because what they have is an innate knowledge of how certain things work. When it comes to casting fire or doing some sort of spell that just they can make it happen. They don't need any preparation for the most part. In most cases, they can just bring it about, you know, by natural abilities that that person has. Whereas intelligence is the stat used for a spellcaster that's like a wizard. And the reason why is because wizards are learned. They have to go in and prepare their spells, bag things up, take like, you know, objects and trinkets and things for the spells to be used with so that they set certain things up and woo and make it happen. And they do that through learning in books, writing down spells and transferring that knowledge and understanding mechanically how it works and breaking it down. Whereas wisdom and characters that are sorcerers do it more through feeling and through a connection to the universe and world around them. Do we get it? So that is the difference when it comes to full-on knowledge about a subject, animation, anything at all. There are people that know something, but they don't, or not know something. They have wisdom about something. They do know. They have knowledge or whatever, but that knowledge is in the form of wisdom. They only have half of it. So they know, but they just don't understand how it works. And likewise, they can know in the sense of understand something and not know. You see what I'm saying? And what was an example I was thinking of how that sort of thing works? Like, I mean, there's tons of examples of that in animation. Um, for instance, like when you watch a Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoon, you know when those characters are running and chasing each other, you know that they're going fast. You can see it and you can also feel it. You get a sense of that. But you, as a normal individual that is not an animator, do not have the knowledge or the understanding of how it works, how those frames are drawn. You may not even know about motion blurs and how motion blurs work, the difference between different types of motion blurs, like a smear or a smudge motion blur versus like, drawn lines, painted ones, things like that. Like there's different methods to that and how that works. Now, now the other way around, to understand but not know, is that it can almost be applied in most instances with like science and stuff like that. They understand a lot without knowing it, without the wisdom portion of it. You know, it's like they are blinded almost by the data. That being the only thing that you look at is usually a bad thing. And I say that because most groundbreaking, things that happen in science and in philosophy and anything in the whole entire world happen because someone thinks outside of the box or thinks against what the status quo thinks. And when everyone's looking at the data, they're not looking at it as a big picture. It's almost like not being able to see the forest through the trees, sort of thing, or whatever. And so, because of that, I feel like I have and can offer a different perspective to that. Now, tell me that wouldn't be funny, though. You know, I mean, if we're being honest here, Mr. Loser guy that ain't doing nothing works in a hotel. What do I know about physics? Well, let me explain to you what it is, my whole purpose is. I got a bunch of crazy crap I gotta say, but I don't want it to be taken that way. It's not crazy at all. Like I said, at this channel, I want it to be about the truth. And there's a lot of people out there like preaching the truth. And because of personas, because of like the suit people put on for themselves to like perform for you as a whatever type of person they are. Like I'm a cosmic new age person, so I'm going to wear all cosmic new age crap and get on here and talk to you about stuff. Or, I'm like a rocker guy, so I'm going to tap myself up and freaking show you all my tats and be that character. You know what I mean? Characters take and either in the minds of different people legitimize or delegitimize the things that they say in the eyes of different people. Take, for instance, back in the day, I used to have dreadlocks, and that gave me an experience that was a very different experience because when you're a white kid with dreadlocks, sometimes that's super frowned upon, and sometimes it's not. And you get very rarely are there people that are middle of the road about it. Most people are either they hate them and they're disgusting, or they love them and they think you're the super coolest person ever in the world because you got dreadlocks. And that's what I'm talking about with legitimizing and delegitimizing the things that people say through the way that they dress and act. And the thing is that shouldn't be the case. Everyone should have an equal opportunity to speak. You know, they should be given the chance to at least do it in like a calm, cool, conversational manner. And then beyond that, you know, if if they show they can't handle that, then it's time for someone else to talk, sort of thing. Uh, but I think that everyone's opinion is valid in some way or another to at least, if anything, help us learn about something, you know. I mean, if it's not a real thing and it's a mental condition that the person is suffering from, then we've learned something there, you know. Like, but we should always be truthful and honest about stuff. And in all of my investigations of things and everything that I look at and all of that stuff, I approach it with a level headed mind. But people ask me often, what do I believe? And that's the thing, is that I suspend my belief. Of course, I have personal beliefs. We all do, because that is the faith in things. You have to have that little bit of faith. The faith is what gets you into the threshold of the cave to fight the dragon. It's the thing that makes you believe that there is something at the other end of that, that what you seek is down that path. And without that certain little bit of faith, or you can call it belief if you want, you aren't able to explore that. You should hold tightly to no beliefs until everything is proven. And I mean literally everything, because what you learn about one thing could completely alter your opinion about something else. And you'll find that through the extent of our videos here that we do. But I'm going to be talking about some crazy crap that seriously, and this is the part where you laugh. This is the part where you laugh, and it's okay to laugh. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. Um, but this is where it gets heavy. This is where I drop the bomb so that when you guys do watch the other video, you, because I don't expect anyone to watch this video. And I don't expect anyone to watch any of my other videos. Like the one I did about value, it got like 1 view. I'm not even sure if that's a legit view. You know what I'm saying? But I don't care about views. Like, what I want from you as viewers is to hand this stuff out. Like, if you think that this is valuable and that what I'm saying is true and that someone could use this information and that perhaps it is correct, and you want to pass it on to someone that could wrap their heads around it and be like, yeah, this guy's right, this guy's not right. That's what I want. That is all I want. We're trying to seek the truth, and that's it. That's it. And like I said before, when you go through the traumatic experiences like I did, and family was asking me if I was okay and stuff, I got my mom and sister and family and friends, you know, worrying if I'm okay, because obviously I suffered a traumatic experience, and now like I'm talking like I'm some physics wizard or some crap like that. And I don't mean that at all. Like with them, I seriously, they're my family. So I came off way more excited and just like laid it on them. And I'm sure for them, you know, I grew up in a Christian family and stuff. So for them, it was probably pretty shocking to hear some of the things that I said. But that's another thing that people can help me with, is that people that can wrap their heads around the things that I'm going to talk about, then share what I say, share your opinions, put comments down below. Let me know if what you think I'm saying is correct, and pass it on to someone that can verify or validate that if you think you know someone. But the crazy stuff I'm going to be talking about, by the end of my whole entire thing, I will be able to explain, and I've drawn up pictures of it right here. And like I said, man, I'm an artist. That's what I do. But I'm gonna explain how those Tibetan monks got the freaking instruments to shoot the rocks up onto the cliff with the audio stuff. I'm gonna explain how the Egyptians levitated their blocks and stuff like that. And like, I know this sounds heavy, man. Like, it sounds like there's no way this guy's gonna do this. But the I want people to come back to these videos. I want people to watch the videos after they see the one video that I do. Because the next video that I do, and this is ballsy to say, I figured if I'm going to get people to believe or at least listen to what I'm saying, then I should just give them, you know, one of the biggest things I got. And if I do that, then they'll have to listen, right? So what I'm going to do next video is solve the 3-body problem. And if you don't know what that is, then you should look up a video on it. I could probably drop a link to one below. But that's what I'm going to do. I have a big book with pages written out and scans of it that I'm going to drop as well on the actual thing for you to download right off my WordPress and let everybody see and check it out. And I'm just going to drop like the first few pages of the book. And if you guys think that I'm onto something, you'll pass the stuff on, the video will get big. And if you want to see more of the book, then I will continue to work on the book. I've got, I don't know, 12 or 13 pages put in there, but there's tons of stuff that I'm researching and experimenting with, and hopefully all of you guys will enjoy it. But from there, I'm going to get on to a bunch of bigger stuff. It's going to be about all sorts of stuff, not just the science stuff. The science thing is really mainly to get like science people on board, because nothing really corroborates or makes the public more on board with something than scientific evidence, like actual real concrete scientific evidence that something is the case. And if I can get the scientific community to corroborate what I'm saying and at least explore it, you know, like philosophically, whatever, then, you know, that might help people to think, hey, what else does Jeremiah have to say? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I wanted to say to you guys this time, I think. So, uh, I guess that's it. Peace.